How fun was it to go through all the footage that you had not used in the actual documentary to pick out the stuff that was in the closing credits?
It was a trip down memory lane type thing. It was a lot of footage. It took me months to watch all of it, and then I selected 70 hours of stuff that I thought was really good and got my editor to watch that, and it took him 3 weeks to go through all of that. And then we started going, okay, how do we make a story out of it? But it was crazy to kind of remind yourself of all the stuff you've done.
Right.
Yeah.
So for the two people in this room who don't know, Murray is Ed Sheeran's cousin. They've known each other their entire lives. Tell me about the conversations that you guys had when, I know you basically shot all this before Kimmie came on board. What were the conversations you guys had about how you wanted this to be a very different kind of music documentary?
Well, I think Kimmie just saw what I was trying to do and was really helpful in helping me just get it exactly the way I wanted it and stuff. So it was close to a finished edit, and it was just kind of just a bit rough around the edges and stuff like that. And I had met Kimmie through a friend of ours, Alejandro, who had kind of secretly tried to get her involved without telling her what the project was, which is very hard when you it's just like, I can't tell you what it is, can't tell you who it's about, but you need to be involved. And then so Kimmie's like, come on guys, and I was just like, I'll show it to you. So we watched it, and luckily she liked it.
Well, the problem that I had was I didn't really know Ed well. I didn't know the music. I didn't know him too well. And when I found, before I met Murray, Al told me, oh, it is Ed Sheeran. And I'm not good at hiding my feelings, or I was like, and Al was, and I went, well, I just don't know the artist too well. And if I want to do music documentary, I really wanted to invest it in it. And there are so many of them out there right now, and I didn't want to make another one.
Right.
So I felt like, and then I met with Marie, and I checked it out, and
And we should tell people that Kimmie is someone who has spent years and years working at MTV, working on the Video Music Awards, so a lot of experience in this space. What was it about what you saw of his first cut that made you say, I'm in?
I think for me it was 5 a.m. when I saw Ed wearing the red sweater, and when that moment, that clip, that segment was when I really felt like, and I spoke to him a couple of times about it, that's when I really felt like, okay, I can make something very unique with Marie, and he knows how to handle the subject matter in a proper way. It wasn't just another concert, fan screaming documentary that I didn't want to make. So I felt like, I believed in him, and it was a good product, and we thought that we can make something very unique.
Murray, what's the age difference between you and Ed? How much older are you?
I'm 6 years old.
How would you characterize your guys' relationship over the years? Has it been close all the time? Did you have periods of closeness and then not so much and then close again?
So we would have been really close as children. Like our kind of families would have kind of gone on holiday together and hung out quite a bit. So it's like proper kids, like you see in the film when we're running around my grandma's house. Like we were just having fun. And then when I got to be like a teenager, I didn't see him for a while, but then when he became like 13, 14, we started to be into the same music, started hanging out more. He started, I was in university in Brighton and really involved in a music scene there, and I knew how much he wanted to be a musician, so I used to invite him down and take him to all these concerts and get in trouble if I gave him a sip of my beer. And then when he said to me, look, I want to make a go of this, I'm going to move to London, I'm going to leave school and do music full time. I was like, yeah, cool, just come and stay on my couch and whenever you need. And so we really started to become like really good friends then, like more than just like cousins type thing. So we, then we were like really good mates, and he invited me on tour and we became really close.
Kimmie, when you came on board on a film that was already shot and partially edited, what were the priorities for you? Was it to kind of get all the frays off the edges? Was it to get Ed's team on board with the movie? What was most important to you to do?
When I was started getting involved with Marie, it wasn't, like, there was no production calendar, there was no budget in place.
It was just footage.
Well,
I had a plan.
yeah, okay, that was perfect.
Written on a napkin
Yeah,
somewhere.
Marie had a great plan, but it wasn't physically out there. But it was a great plan, it was an excellent plan. So we started with kind of looking at when and where we're going to aim to release the film, which festival we want to go, how much it's going to cost to finish it. Let's get people to sign the release because they kind of need to. So we started from like kind of going, backwards and catching up really fast. So it was almost like a boot camp. Okay, we have something amazing. We just need to get all this in place. So in a way, they really helped me in my background in the live show. You got to do it. You just do it.
So basically turning it from home movies to something that can legally come out.
It was an amazing home video.
Yeah.
We just needed to make the structure and which direction we're going to go with. And Mario was still very much working hard to get everyone on board. Management side, label, he had a very heavy lifting to that side of things. Because we didn't know we could make the film and we can release it.
So this was made kind of, not on the slide, but this wasn't made
Very
under
much
the
on the
auspices.
slide.
Okay, great.
So yeah, basically I didn't want to ask a lot from Ed, so I wanted to just present, and I also was afraid that if I showed what I had, that they would just go, great, we're going to give it to Scorsese, and I'll be out of a job. So what I wanted to do was finish it and show it to him. So that was the plan. I wanted to just ask one question, which was, can I enter this into a film festival? And so I got it to that point, showed it to him. He said yes, and then after that, it was just getting all the permissions and all the legal stuff done so it could happen. But until I had it good enough to show him and him be happy with it, I wasn't going to do anything further.
So it's played at Tribeca.
And Berlin
Berlin.
Film Festival, yeah, that's where it premiered.
So the totally predictable question that I have to ask, was there anything that he wanted taken out?
Yeah, he gave me notes which was like as small as a text message, and so for me, like working on this film for like since 2015 and then showing it to him and like having so much in there and dealing with like really delicate stuff family wise and with his fiance and stuff like that,
Right.
like I was expecting loads of notes and I just got 3, and it was change that shot at the back of my head. It's not a very engaging way to start a scene.
Okay.
And then there was a swear word that he didn't want in there. He said, I don't want that in. And the montage that you just saw at the end, he wanted that more fun and stuff that fans hadn't seen before. Because it was kind of, I was using it as kind of like B-roll stuff that couldn't fit in the film. And he was like, nah, just do fun stuff. So,
That's great. How would you both say this whole process has changed the way that you view songwriting and what you might have thought it was like before you started this and what you now think it's like? Songwriting in general and specifically Ed's songwriting.
well, I might pass that over to Kimmie because the reason I made the film is because I watched songwriting and I was like, this is amazing, I want to document it and I want people to feel the way I feel when I'm there and trying to make it seem like you're in the room and you're watching it unfold. And that's a big reason why I decided not to have any kind of sit-down interviews and stuff, because I really wanted you to feel like you were there and it's happening around you rather than have someone cut to. When we were trying to make that song, it was very difficult. Blah, blah, blah. So I knew what I wanted out of from watching Ed write songs. But Kimmie, what did you learn?
I grew up with music, but not this level of intimacy that, what Marie experienced. To me, like songwriting it could be most intimate, even more than making film or TV show. It's really coming out of you and can be very by yourself. It's not something that required. Ed does it himself or support with people as well, but to me that's very intimate. So by watching this film and having this opportunity to see him, it feels like I'm in the room. So it kind of engages you, even if I'm not a songwriter, something that I can do, inspiring, craft, something artistic or something creative that I want to do. And that's what really, touched me. And a lot of young songwriters came up to us when we were doing the festival rounds. They were very inspired and they wanted to do something like, I want to start writing tonight.
Wow.
So to me that was really, rewarding and exciting thing by making this film.
Yeah, on that note, I did definitely realize like that there's a way of creativity where you, like Ed does it all the time. He doesn't ever judge himself while he's writing. So he just gets to the finish line without any, is this good, is this bad, whatever. Like everything he's doing is just like as good as it can be while he's doing it, and then he'll judge it much later. So there's like a side of your brain that's creative and another side that's a critic. And just do not even entertain the critic side for a second while you're writing. Get it finished, and then later on, like a week later, listen back to it and just go, oh, that's actually good, or that's actually bad, or whatever. Like it doesn't matter at the time.
Well, it's all those moments where you see him coming up with a line or a riff, and then he goes, "Oh, that's actually really good." It's almost like he's talking about something that somebody else has written.
Yeah.
And I like that he's that objective about what he himself is creating.
Yeah, it's a weird situation because when he says something out loud, he's hearing it for the first time too. So like that moment in the film at the start where he turns straight into the camera when he's writing Love Yourself, and he just goes, "You still hit my phone up," like that. He's kind of like, "Is that good?" He's just said it, and he's like, "I don't know if that's good yet." And he turns around to Benny and goes, "You still hit my phone up," to check with Benny, "Is it a good line?" And then he's like, "Right, it's a good line, it's in."
Was that song supposed to be a Justin Bieber song the whole time, or was he initially writing that for himself?
He was initially writing it, and then he felt that I think that his sound, like what he wanted for his next album, might not be that. I think, but yeah, and then Justin took it and did great things to it and made it what it is now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so mad when because that was way before Ed's album came out. Like when he wrote it and then Justin got involved, that all happened very quick. Like Scooter got I think the rough demo from that, like there was bass noise in it and everything, and he was like, "Oh my God, Justin, listen to this. You should do something with this." And then he put his stuff on top of it, and then it came out very quick. And so that really inspired me that I was on the right track with this album, because I was showing like little snippets of that to people and just kind of going, "Look, this is already a hit song, look at it getting made." And people were like, "That's really interesting." I was like, "Well, I've got the whole album."
Right. Was there any footage of Castle on the Hill being written?
I wasn't there for that. Yeah, there's a couple of, if you're wondering why any of the songs aren't in the film, it's because I wasn't there.
That's okay, we're not going to expect you to like be attached to the hip with your cousin.
Yeah.
What was the whole idea behind teaming up with Apple Music? Because that's who's going to really put this out in a couple days, right?
Yes, it's August 28th is when it's launching on Apple. So we decided to go to Berlin LA for world premiere. So we did that, and then we did North America and Tribeca. And within that time period, we engaged Thirty West, who was our sales rep. So we had a lot of posts coming after us, which was very grateful, and we were very surprised and happy about it. So as you can imagine, there are 5-6 usual suspects who was really wanting to get the film, and that was an interesting time. They were discussing our options. So I think at the end, and Maria, feel free to weigh in, we felt like it was the right home for this type of film, and we felt like they really believed in it, and we love the fact that they really loved the film, and that's what we wanted to hear. And they were very, behind us. We love it. We want it, and we're gonna make it work.
So anybody who has an Apple Music subscription, I don't know how it works. Is that, like, anyone who has Apple Music can watch this, or do you buy just the movie?
You can, so you subscribe to Apple Music, and also if you don't have Apple Music, it's got a free trial as well. So you can do that, and it works on Android, because these are all the questions I get asked every day on Twitter. But yeah, so it'll stream on Apple Music, and then and then it'll roll out after that.
Let me ask two kind of burning questions that I have after watching this, and then I'm going to open it up to you all to ask the questions for Marie and Kimmie. So question one, on the Queen Mary 2,
Yeah.
where already
We were
ahead.
so far in the middle of the ship, like where like all the kind of food that they would keep for the restaurants above would be, and all the staff quarters and stuff. And they were like, you know, when you go like at the back of a warehouse and it's all the kind of plastic kind of flappy things that you push through. We were through one of them, right down. It was freezing. And that door, there's a door next to it. Like you open that and that's to the ocean. Like that's like,
Oh my God.
we were under the water.
Did you guys have to like get all that set before you got on the boat, or were you,
Yeah.
did you get on the, okay, so before you got on, you were like, listen, we're coming on this boat, it's Ed Sheeran and a songwriter, he hates to fly, please, or producer, please understand we need a dedicated space,
Yeah.
and that's how you did it.
Yeah, so they gave us a dedicated space in there, and there was a piano in the room, and it was quite funny because there was this classical pianist who was also on the boat, and she kept knocking on every day, and she had absolutely no idea who Ed was or Benny was. And every day he'll be right in the middle of writing a song, and he'll be like, do, do, do. And he's like, hello? And he's like, oh, it's the pianist again. And she'll be like, I need to practice. And it's like, can you leave it for a bit? And like, we've got this room for the whole thing. And she's like, no, I need to practice. And like, she's doing concerts every day on the ship. So like, we're like, okay, we'll go for food. Like, we'd have to take a break whenever she wanted to practice.
Were there Ed fans on the ship who were like, I'm on a ship for a week with Ed Sheeran?
He tried to keep a low profile, but yeah, almost everyone that worked there was like, when he stopped calling room service. Because first day one person would come in and go, hey, wait, it's you? Can I have a picture? And he'd be like, yeah, cool. And then second day, 2 people need to carry the plane. Third day, 3 people, and then there's 4 people going, So I used to order his food to my room and then take it over to him.
Okay, last thing I just need to know, because it's probably my favorite moment in the movie when he plays Supermarket Flowers for his
Yeah.
dad. What happened when he eventually did play it for his mom?
I wasn't there, and it was like a kind of personal and private kind of thing, so I actually don't know, but I'm sure she was touched by it.
I love it. Okay, you guys certainly have questions for these two. Please do not be shy. I'll repeat the question too so you all can hear it. Hi.
Hi, so first of all, thank you so much for this.
No, thank you.
Super enjoyable. A quick two-parter. There seems to be a cultural shift right now which has opened the door to public interest to how songs are crafted. And you see that with Spotify Secret Genius and The Writer Is, which is a wonderful podcast. Why do you think that cultural shift has happened? That's part one. And part two, you've been in the room with Ryan Tedder, you've been in the room with Julia Michaels, Ed, obviously, Steve Mack, some of the best on earth. Is there something that separates them creatively in their approach that makes them great rather than good?
So the questions were, why do you think there's more of a cultural interest in general in songwriting? And also, what is it about Ryan Tedder, Julia Michaels, Steve Mack, Ed, that kind of separates the great songwriters from the good songwriters?
Well, I'll answer the second bit first. So basically, some of them just have something unique. Like Julia Michaels is incredible, like absolutely amazing. Like it's really rare to see someone just able to do it like as easy as it looks. Like she hums stuff and it's a hit record. Like, she'll be like, and then she'll just do one thing and it's like, well, that's the chorus, and then she'll do another one and then that's the next bit, and it's just, it seems like she can just get melodies so well, and now that I've seen her work, when I listen to the radio, I know which one she's written, because like if a thing has a little like hum section, I'm like, yeah, Julia wrote that. It's got like the oh and stuff like that, and sorry and stuff. When you hear it, you're just like, yeah, Julia wrote that.
It's like when Max Martin was a huge songwriter. Every Max Martin song had like the chorus, and then it had the second kind of variation of the chorus, and you knew that it was a Max Martin song.
Yeah, it's a tell.
Yeah.
But so she's incredible. I really enjoyed watching her write, and very impressive. And Ryan Tedder, he's just got crazy energy. I think I remember one time we went down to Abbey Road because he was putting down piano on Happier, and called in, and he was like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? I've been up since 5 a.m." And he's like, and I was like, "All right," and he's just like, going, "Yeah, I wrote 5 songs today." And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, me and Ed were out like last night drinking until," and Ed's like, "You've been up since 5? We were drinking till 2. And he's like, "Yeah, I went to bed, but then I woke up with an idea, and then I did it." And then, so like, he's just got the energy and writes, and very, very skilled musician. So like, he can just play whatever's in his head and come out with it and stuff. And then Foy Vance is another one that I just, watching him write is brilliant as well. So I think it's a different thing for each person what makes them stand out from the rest. It's just a unique thing, but the one thing they all have in common is drive, determination, like finishing songs is a big one. And then the Wailers, I'm not really sure. I think people like to know a lot about songwriting and who did it and why, and kind of give these people like their fair dues and props and stuff. There's people writing some incredible songs who are unknown. So I kind of feel lucky that I started this project, and just by the time it came out, all of these things are happening at the same time, so there's a light on the whole subject, but there definitely wasn't when I started. So I feel very lucky that the conversation's out there now, and this is a film that shows them.
It's also cool that we're in a time now where a lot of songwriters like Julia and Ryan Tedder are becoming known as artists.
Yeah.
As much as
yeah, because Julia wasn't an artist when this was filmed. She wasn't even thinking of it, I don't think. And then she wrote, there was a song that she wrote and she just couldn't give it to anybody. It was too personal. It was that song Issues.
Issues.
Yeah, it was about her and her ex, and she was like, nobody else can sing it but me. And then so she decided to put it out as herself.
Very cool. Thanks for the questions. Who else? Hi.
Hi, I just wanted to know, even being his cousin, was there ever a time for you, as the filmmaker, where it felt a little intrusive?
Question is whether Murray, as cousin, ever felt like he was intruding on anything while filming it.
So basically, I felt like some things are private and some things like are no-go areas, and so I would feel that way about any of the family and his girlfriend and stuff. The shot of his girlfriend wasn't shot by me, because as soon as she turned up, my camera was down, but someone else shot it, and I'm glad they did. But and with the family, I tried, like, always trying to crop them out and stuff, and especially I think it works emotionally as well, but in the scene Supermarket Flowers, I knew, like, not to film my uncle. Like, I was like, he's not the one that wants to be in the public eye, it's just Ed. It's not like, so just stay on it, focus on it and stuff. And so that there's moments like that where, but Ed's very comfortable with me and like lets me film everything pretty much. So it's just me, myself, that kind of figures out the line of what I don't want to film.
Any last questions? Up at the top. Oh, now I see some hands. There you go. Hi, up at the top.
Hey, Roy, how's it going? How's your shoulder?
Hey, it's getting better every day. I hope my shoulder.
Do you have plans to do anything with the other 200-300 hours of footage?
No, do you want it?
I've got 2 years burning a hole in my pocket.
Wicked, right, let's do a new project. The B-roll.
Do you hear that guy?
Yeah, that's my friend Nick, he's a director.
I saw some other hands, 2 women here. Yes, I'm going to take you both, 1 and 2.
So I'm wondering about the songwriting process. We don't see a lot of Ed actually going and writing down the lyrics as he's, going through the process, especially that scene where he's doing Galway Girl and Toy, and they're just kind of standing around. And I'm wondering if that's a product of editing, where you just don't see him going back, or does he have that kind of recall where he can just remember the last time that he, went through?
Yeah, so he would have remembered it, but also in that particular scene, Amy Wadge is sat on the floor with the laptop. So everything that he's saying, she's writing down. But he's got a really freakish way of, like, he can just remember lyrics. But so when he was younger, he used to write stuff down a lot more. And now he kind of just figures it all out and kind of remembers it and puts it down. And there's either a microphone on in the room that's capturing everything, or someone goes, "What did you say?" and types it. Like Amy was typing during Galway Girl. And the first scene in Love Yourself, there you see him with the laptop and he writes, and then he calls me in and sings me what he had written while I wasn't in the room. Because in that particular time he was just like, "Okay, you guys leave the room, I'm going to write and then come back in when I've got something." Which he doesn't really do that much anymore. He used to do that a lot more of leave me alone and I'll do it and then you can come back in. And then I think he just kind of got used to me being there.
Right. Same road, yes.
What was the hardest part to film?
Hardest thing to film?
The thing that took the most psychology to get in the room was getting on the boat. I heard that Ed was going to take a boat with Benny Blanco because he was afraid of flying, and I was getting on that boat, and it was hard. Like it was hard. I was like, I'm buying my. There was one point where I was like, I'm just going to buy my own ticket and go and knock on their door. I'll find them, and so it was. So what I ended up doing was what I said with the Love Yourself thing. I edited Love Yourself together, which is on the tour bus, and I knew that I needed to play it to a room, not just like Ed. So I kind of got that bit, and it was when they were writing Barcelona and stuff in Malibu, and I just played it to them and went, "This is you guys writing on a bus. Imagine another scene where you're writing on a boat." And then everyone, like Amy and Benny and stuff, were just like, "Oh, that's so cool! I love that was great." And then I was like, "Let me on the boat."
Just to reiterate that part, what Boris was saying, I think a lot of folks also think that, oh, it's just cousin film in a famous singer. It wasn't that easy or simple.
Right.
A lot of work went in, even after marking the footage, getting this approved, making sure the tone is right. I mean, Warren makes it sound like it's really easy, but it's not. It has been very difficult and challenging, and I think I was very proud how well he handled the situations.
Absolutely, it sounds like it. Hi.
I just want to say, it's kind of funny that he said he didn't want to be known as a male Adele, because I just went on to his concert last weekend,
Yeah.
and that's what I kind of told a lot of people, is that he reminded me a lot of Adele in concert, where that's just them up there, and they talk in between, and they were both amazing. But also I noticed, since he's on tour right now, are you doing any recording for his tour for Divide?
Whether Murray's filming anything on the Divide tour right now is the question.
No, they're on tour right now, so I'm doing this. But there's a guy called Nick Mins who helped a lot with this, with the kind of final performance bit. He's filming everything of Ed now and doing all of that stuff.
Okay. Yes. Hi. Yeah. You. Yes.
So
Hi.
you're a filmmaker, and obviously, like, witnessing the songwriting, I guess the creativity behind that. Do you think there's a lot of similarities between that and kind of creating film? And did you guys edit the song?
Similarities between filmmaking and songwriting, and what did you edit it on?
Edited it on Adobe Premiere, and yes, I see loads of similarities. There's so many times in the process where I'm trying to get a film made and trying to edit it or trying to do it, and just kind of like, you always think you're at the end and then a whole nother chapter opens up. And then, so I was just kind of like, there's a few times where I was thinking, oh, I'm at that stage of the process, like I'm at the bit where I think the album's done, but the record label come over and tell me they need another song. Like those kind of moments would happen. And structure-wise, I realized I was almost kind of making an album myself. Like I've got, it's an album where like track 1 is Love Yourself, track 2 is thing, and it's just kind of structuring it to have the ups and downs the same way an album would. So I was definitely drawing on the only other thing I knew, because I'd never made a film before. So the only other thing I knew was watching an album get made. So that did really, I think they go parallel, yeah.
Well, we're out of time, but I want to thank you guys both so much for being here. Congratulations on this wonderful
Thank you very
movie.
much.
And guys, thank you so much for your great questions. Thank you. Murray Cummings and Kimmie. Tell all your friends that Songwriter is on Apple Music this week. They should stream it.